want to hold high office, you have to swear an oath to God, regardless of what you believe. The act of swearing an insincere oath flies in the face of the integrity of the office being assumed. Those are the words of humanist and funeral celebrant Brian Whiteside, who joins us now. Brian, you are a long time, I suppose, advocate of removing the requirement to swear on the Bible if you are taking high office, like the presidency in this country. Tell us why.
Well, because I think it's unequal. I think we all understand that in 1937, when the Constitution was drafted, it was drafted with the guiding hand of the Catholic Church. But over the last 50 years, there's been what we might call a quiet revolution going on, and little by little, lots of things have changed. And I suppose the main tipping point was 2015 with the same-sex referendum, which was just a resounding success for the people of Ireland, and you might call it a slap in the face for the Catholic Church. But some things just haven't moved on, and I think it's absolutely wrong. And despite constant prompting with the government over the last 20 years, they just haven't addressed this. And so we're left in a situation where people, if they were about to hold high office and they were not religious believers, they would be put in a position where they'd either have to refuse to take up office or else swear an insincere oath, which is a terrible thing.
They've abandoned this practice in things like court. You can take a solemn affirmation, or you can swear on the Quran, or you don't have to go on the Bible as your thing. Are you looking for something similar for the office of president?
Well, a lot of people think that would be a good solution. But I think it'd be much better if it was even-handed and just one for all. And I don't see why it needs to be a religious oath. I don't think you should have to do anything like that in order to fulfill an office in the way that it should be fulfilled. I think somebody going for a high office like that, if they were to take, just to make a solemn and sincere undertaking to fulfil the office, I think that should be sufficient.
And what about people who say that Ireland is still largely a Christian or a Catholic country? And I think the last census, we were 76% of people self-declared themselves to be Roman Catholic. So it is still 3/4 of the population. It's the vast majority. Is it not fair enough that the offices of the state would to some extent reflect that?
Well, what about the other 24%? And I think that we have become, in many ways, a secular society. In so many ways, if you look at the way young people are getting married, or any people getting married, about half marriages now are either civil or secular. I think a lot of people tick
just over half. We reported it quite recently.
Yeah,
it's just
I think a lot of people still tick the Catholic box. Just inertia and culture, and that's how they were born. And
but you're exactly right. I think we are cultural Catholics, maybe more than devout Catholics. Many of us in this country, and I suppose that's where it's coming from. Every time, Brian, I should say to you that we often talk about religion in schools, because there's lots of people who think we should take religion out of schools.
Don't start me on that.
But huge amounts of people, when we talk about removing religion in schools, huge amounts of people text the show and go, "I don't want to take religion out of schools. I like my children getting, a religious education. I like them being given the morality of it, or the sort of the Christian values from it, that kind of thing."
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a topic for another day. And I would relish the opportunity of coming in and talking to you about that. But it's probably not for today. But I think in a fair secular society, I think that this oath is wrong.
Okay. Well, look, we'll leave it there, because I think we're going to ask our listeners what they think as well. But thank you very much for speaking to us this morning.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Let us know what you think. Is Brian right? Should we be doing away with this oath? Is it an anachronism? And do we go fully secular? Is that where we're moving? Is that what we actually want? Or are we all too much so cultural Catholics in order to do that?